KCR and his national party to fight the 2024 polls. After taking too many U-turns on his veiled threats to unite the opposition parties to take on the mighty Bharatiya Janata Party and its most charismatic leader Narendra Modi, the Telangana Rashtriya Samiti, that is the TRS chief, now comes up with the idea of a national party. The great idea was born out of his marathon meeting with the political strategist Prashant Kishore last Sunday at the party's headquarters. Kishore, whose proposal was rejected by the Vadra Congress, is desperate to be in news. This was evident after his announcement on failing to close the deal with the Congress as its strategist to revive the fast decaying National Party, in fact announced in his home state of Bihar that he would be floating a party of his own soon. If one has to believe news reports, even two possible names were also finalized, and Kishore apparently was advised to begin the process of identifying potential faces to appoint as state heads. Although they came up with two names, both seem to have decided to finalize Bharatiya Nirmana Samiti, and even the flag is identical to that of the existing TRS. But many political analysts ponder, from where is KCR going to mobilize huge funds to form and run a national party? Many fear he is stirring a hornet's nest to get exposed himself to some alleged graft charges against him by the opposition parties of huge loot in multi-crore irrigation projects, including Kaleshwaram built across River Godavari in Karimnagar district. In the same breath, political analysts also could see through the shrewd Kishore's realization that instead of launching his own party and creating a hole to his own pocket, he should encourage KCR to fulfill his national ambitions. The TRS is raring to don a major role in national politics for reasons best known to him. Chandrasekhar Rao, who is fondly known as KCR among the people, is indeed a successful leader in the founding regional party and is also achieving his objective to carve out a separate statehood for the erstwhile backward region. He also got accolades for good governance in the first 5-year stint after state formation, though he went back on making a Dalit as the first CM and retained power for the second term in 2018. Advancing the polls by a year, is now finding it tough to retain power in the next year's scheduled polls. The regional sentiment as well as the good governance image is getting evaporated due to his expensive freebies which forced the state coffers to get bankrupt, and he continued his posture of arrogance against the centre, leaving him like a cat on the hot tin roof. Added to that, his growing frustration over his inability to pass on the baton to his son is also considered as one of the reasons behind his newfound national ambitions. That apart, his allergy towards the Congress seems further widened after brainstorming sessions he had with Prashant Kishore, whose proposal to be considered as its Congress-led alliance or UPA-3 chief election strategist was turned down. A rattled KCR, who realized that his party was on slippery ground and almost reached a point of no return in the upcoming elections, is desperate to depend heavily on the iPad and its founder Prashant Kishore. But many wonder how far and how long KCR decided to take the proposal to its logical conclusion, as the centre, on the other hand, is not going to spare him on certain alleged graft cases by reopening them at an appropriate time to embarrass him. But shrewd KCR appears unperturbed, and his desperation to ruffle BJP's feathers was part of a strategy to regain evaporated sympathy towards him and his party. That is, if the BJP tries to use or misuse the central agencies to cry foul before the gullible electorate. He and his party could best utilize if such harassment is thrust upon KCR and his family and turn it to their advantage to win another term. Meanwhile, it is gathered that KCR apparently decided not to attend the opposition meeting convened by the West Bengal Chief Minister and Trinamool Congress Party President Mamata Banerjee. The reason behind his decision was said to be his dislike to share the dais with Sonia Gandhi or Rahul Gandhi. Although Mamata had sent out an invite to as many as 22 opposition parties, both the communist parties reportedly decided to stay away. Added to that, even the DMK president and Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin too are not all that keen to attend the Delhi meeting. Similarly, the Maharashtra Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray of Shiv Sena is citing his prefixed Ayodhya engagement as a reason behind his inability to attend. In that backdrop, one finds the opposition meeting convened by Mamata on Wednesday likely to be a flop show, though she was received by the National Congress Chief Sharad Pawar. While the meeting was convened to finalize a common opposition candidate against the BJP-headed NDA, the absence of major opposition party bigwigs like KCR, Stalin and Uddhav and Sharad Pawar opting out not to be the presidential candidate added more confusion to the visibly divided opposition. Highly placed sources close to the BJP claimed that, like in the past when it surprised the opposition by announcing the then governor of Bihar, Ramnath Kovind, as its presidential candidate, this time too it is going to repeat the same. This was despite the party authorizing Rajnath Singh and the party's national president Nadda was told to hold parleys with the opposition as the Prime Minister Narendra Modi wanted consensus among all the parties this time around. Interestingly, the BJP, which reportedly zeroed in on one person as its nominee, is yet to provide some comfort to the opposition to come up with their candidate. The BJP looks more than confident in ensuring its candidate's victory, with the YSRCP openly announcing its support for the NDA candidate. With the support of YSRCP, the BJP's nominee victory looks certain as it was on its own just short of just 1.2%. That apart, the BJP is also confident to rope in yet again Naveen Patnaik Biju's Janata Dal, that is the BJD. The BJD, although not part of the NDA and is maintaining its independent identity, bailed out BJP on many occasions in the past and was always there if the former fell short of a few votes. Now, guess who is going to be the NDA's nominee? Your guess is good as ours. It's Arif Muhammad Khan, governor of the most turbulent Kerala. But can they pull him out when the Kerala is in crisis with the demand of Chief Minister Pinarayi Ravi's resignation for his alleged involvement in the multi-crore gold scam? One has to wait and see. This is MS Purthy for Orange News 9 TV.